All right, hello everyone. We're going to get started. I hope you're well. Today we have Laura presenting on public speaking in the medicine field, and we're really happy to have you here. So,
All right,
Laura,
hello
whenever.
everyone. We're going to get started presenting.
Sorry about that. Anyways, again, hi everyone. I hope you're well. Today we have Laura presenting on public speaking in medicine, and Laura, whenever you're ready, you can begin.
Okay, so I'm just gonna quickly pull up the presentation. Oh, it says it's disabled for.
Sorry about that. Okay, here it is.
Okay, perfect. So hello everyone. My name is Laura Aybar. I'm a first year medical student in the University Iberoamericana in Dominican Republic. This is a little island in the Caribbean. It's nothing big for now. So today we're going to be going into public speaking for med students, and not only med students, but anyone who's interested in going into, I don't know, pre-med track or doing pre-med or just medical students in general. So today we're going to be going a bit into what is public speaking, some misconceptions on public speaking, the purpose of or importance of it, some elements, how to properly introduce yourself. We're gonna go over some scenarios on, just introducing in general. Then how to use public speaking as medical students, and lastly, in our personal lives. So let's just get started. So what is public speaking? So the dictionary definition of it is the process of communicating with a large group of audience. I like to define public speaking as just in general speaking or communicating efficiently with anyone. It can be just one person, a large group of audience, a lecture, anything that revolves or involves communicating. So leading into that, so some misconceptions of it. The first one is really important to understand that good public speakers are born with it. This is completely false. So years of practicing will help you achieve a great public speaking ability. So just a bit of story time. So I started public speaking like 6 years ago. And when I started, let me tell you, it wasn't great. It was awful, to say the least. But with years of practicing, you get really good at public speaking and you get to manage what really it entails and portrays. Then there is nothing you can do about a boring topic. I like to say that all topics are boring until you have the great amount of research or knowledge about the topic. So my first topic was a disaster. I had to talk about Trump and I had to talk about politics in general. And I was like, oh no, not this, some a controversial topic again. And when I did my research, I got really good at explaining every fact, every opinion on the topic. Then memorizing. This is a big misconception that you need to have this big paragraph or outline of your presentation in order for it to go great. This is false. So, when you're presenting a topic or doing a speech, the most important thing for you to understand is that while memorizing is great sometimes, and some people like to memorize all the information, if you do one little mistake or forget one thing of your outline, then the whole fluency of the presentation will be affected. And lastly, I have to know all the answers to every question thrown at me. So another story time, I'm a debate coach. And my first workshop, I was like, oh my God, what if they ask me X or Y question? What am I going to do? So I spent 6 hours studying for a workshop. Yes, correct, studying. So then I realized when I got there that there was this question that I couldn't answer, and I went into full depressive mode. And then I realized it's not as important to answer every single question that you get asked as it is to inform and properly communicate your thoughts while public speaking. Then, going along with that, I wanted to present this number because I feel like it's really important to understand that those who suffer from glossophobia are not alone. So, glossophobia is essentially the fear of public speaking, and 77% of the world population has glossophobia. That translates to roughly 6 billion people. And I didn't know this, which is funny because the first time that I had to present a topic, I was peeing my pants, and you seeing the movies that you need to picture everyone naked. That is a mistake. You will get more nervous that you already were. So, my biggest tip for you is just to come with all the knowledge that you have prepared and just give it your best. The first time is not going to be the perfect time, but you will continue to get better. Then we have the three key or the three important factors of public speaking, which is inform, persuade, and entertain. So inform is essentially like a good informative speech or just, sharing knowledge with an audience, enhances their understanding. It makes them remember your words after you've finished. This is really important to understand because while you are explaining a topic or communicating, your main goal in the presentation is for the audience or the group of people or the person that is listening to you to fully understand the topic. Then, to understand the topic, we need to persuade the person to we are presenting. And this is the nightmare of every AP Lit or AP English student, which is ethos, pathos, and logos. We know these are the modes of persuasion and the pillars of what makes a great speaker. I wouldn't really recommend going into depth into what they really are or how is it that I'm going to use it in my life, but to really understand these three key things. So, ethos, we know essentially is credibility. So let's put this example. If you have a computer science student and then a medical student, and both are given the same task of presenting to you what is a macromolecule and how do you use or how do you use it in med school, you are more likely to trust the medical student because of their credentials, because they are a credible source of what the topic really entails. So while the computer science student might be saying the same stuff that the medical student is, you're more likely to trust them. This is essentially what ethos means, and is essentially what we need to understand when we're presenting in front of an audience. So, really put some limits into what your presentation should be. Then, pathos. This is basically emotions. This is not crying in front of an audience when you're talking about a sad topic. This means that while it is, let's say, a sad topic or a really happy one, is the thought of controlling your emotions throughout your speech, and not only controlling your emotions, but knowing how to portray your emotions. So that can be done through anecdotes or through stories, and just to really connect and gain your final goal of persuading. And lastly, logic. For me, this is the hardest one to implement in a speech because how is it that I'm going to use logic? I'm just presenting facts. That should count as logic. But let's put this example. We know the viral conversation on TikTok about why can't we print more money? So yeah, that's because of inflation. But to someone that doesn't really understand the concepts of economics, that means nothing. So we continue to create examples like the one with the monkey. We give a monkey a banana and then give 100, the value of the banana decreases. Those examples helps you connect with your audience and makes them understand. So basically the point of persuading is simplifying, connecting, and making a trustworthy connection with the audience. Lastly, we have entertain. So I like to think that public speakers are leaders who are able to inspire an audience and to make them achieve their goal. But at the end of the day, we as speakers need a goal for our presentation. My goal for today is to present to you what is public speaking? How are you going to use it? And so I'm working with my goal throughout the presentation to create the best environment for the speech. And this is essentially entertaining. Then we go into the four V's, or the elements of public speaking. First, we have verbal. And I like this definition of the V, of the first V element, which is the actual words you use. Because this is not only if you are speaking, if you're talking to a friend, this is also the words that you write, the words that you communicate. Then we have the vocal, which are volume, rate, cadence, and lastly, and most importantly, fluency. So volume is essentially, if I start screaming, you will think that I'm crazy, like I'm doing right now. But then we have rate. If I start talking really fast, you're not going to understand me. And then what happens to my persuasion skills? And then, most importantly, as I said, fluency. So, my presentation, to be as fluid as I want it to be, I have to be confident in what I'm doing. And yes, I mentioned already that first presentations are awful and you're not confident at all. But then while you're practicing, you are learning. So, just a bit of a tip when you are practicing the four V's of public speaking. The tip that helped me the most was to put my phone and record me from every corner of my room. This will show you what volume, what rate, and what fluency you're giving to your audience, even though if you're just looking crazy in your room alone. Then we have visuals. This is our body language. This is the key element for when you are doing or you're getting a first impression of someone. You see their body language. If I look sad all the time while presenting a topic, then the emotions that the audience or the public will feel is sadness. So it's really important to understand that while we talk with our mouth, we really should be implementing talking with our hands. Our hands are the center of our body and the center of what people or the audience will notice. Now that we're Zoom and everything's online, it's a bit harder for you to convey your words with your hands, but it's never impossible. Then the vitals. This, I don't even know how to explain to you what vital is because it's your true self. It refers to your authenticity. It refers to what you add into your presentation that makes your presentation unique. For me, I like to share stories about my life and about how everything's not going great. And now more that I need to be studying every single day, but it's still essentially what makes my presentations unique. So now we're gonna go through some cases of introductions. So introductions are dreadful. When you're meeting new people, it's always dreadful, and you don't know what to say, and you get really nervous, and you get kind of excited, but kind of not. And it's hard to really understand in what situations should we be um, practicing our introductions, or what introduction should I use. So our first example is just casual conversations. So first you start maybe with a hello, a hey, a hi, a good afternoon. You first mentioned your name. My name is Lauren. My name is not Lauren Bay, but for sake of the example, let's say it is. So my name is Lauren Bay, and I am a first-year medical student at the University Iberoamericana. For my casual presentations or introductions, the only thing that they need to know about you is your name and what you do. Because then the conversation will get boring if you say even your social security number in your first sentence. So it's really important to really understand that while it is a casual conversation, your first impression will always matter. It doesn't matter who you're talking to, it just matters what you say. So, on our next example, we have something about a bit more formal, but not as formal as the third and last example. First, again, we start with a greeting. Good afternoon. My name is Lauren Bay, and I'm a first year medical student at the University Iberoamericana. I am working on a research project about cognitive diseases and have been assigned to assist. I'll be pleased to help you. So, first thing that we're noticing is that we are maintaining the same lines of the primaries of introductions. Then, if let's say I'm meeting with with someone who's going to be helping me, or I'm going to be assisting them on a research. They need to know what am I doing here? Why am I here? So that's the next step of introductions. And lastly, you always want to be helpful to anyone that you're meeting. So if you're already helping them with a research, always try to open your possibilities and open their possibilities to make them feel more secure and trust you more. And this also applies with the ethos, which is credibility again. And lastly, we have our third example. This will really help you in interviews because, oh my God, trust me, I've done like 15 interviews and I'm just first year. So imagine what you will be doing when you're, climbing the stairs of med school. So first, again, normal greeting, good afternoon. Then my name is Lauren Bay. I am a first year medical student at the University Iberoamericana. So with this interview, you then really have to get into the details of why you are there, who you are, and really be open to possibilities once again. So I'm from the Dominican Republic, thus I speak both English and Spanish fluently. I'm working on a research program on cognitive diseases and I have been assigned to assist. You have two options: pleasure to meet you, or it was a pleasure to meet you, or a pleasure meeting you. It doesn't really matter. It just matters that you are trying to tell them that it was nice. This interview almost made me pee my pants, but it was nice meeting you. Then I appreciate you giving me your time today because they are giving you time for you to accomplish X or Y goal. Then hope to see you again. If you have any questions about my resume, or let's say you're handing in a research paper, just let me know and I'll be happy to respond. Always open to possibilities. Then we're finally getting to what we want to know, which is how to use it as a future doctor or someone who is already a medical student or a pre-med student. So I have 5 cases that are the 5 most important cases that you're going to be encountering when you are studying medicine. The first one is lectures. We are used to receiving the lectures, but not giving them. There is a time where you are going to be giving lectures, and it's really important that we divide each case into the most important element, or the V's of public speaking. So for the first element of lectures, we have the vocal. Vocal is volume, rate, cadence, and fluency. So again, record yourself from a corner in your room, do it. You're gonna look really crazy, but it works. It really works because when you're giving a lecture, apart from informing, persuading, and entertaining your audience, you need to make sure that they're listening to you. And while they might be listening to you from the front row, the last row might be thinking, oh my God, so I can't hear. Should I go to lunch now? Is it time to eat? Because they're not even paying attention to you because you're not using the right volume, rate, cadence, and fluency. Now we go into clinical rotations as a medical student and resident and any step of the stair. Basically, this is where we implement our first introduction if you're meeting someone new. If you're meeting a patient, don't tell them you're a first year medical student if you are, because they're going to be, oh my God, so this first year medical student is going to be examining me. But really tell them your name, tell them you're there to help, because the most important part, or the V, that applies to this case is the verbal, is how you speak, how you communicate efficiently with the patient or even with the doctor that you are assisting in that rotation. It's important to also recognize that while we are going to be nervous because we don't know everything about medicine yet, and possibly will never know everything, it's important to know that everyone has been there. Even the doctor that is right there, the nurse, everyone in the room has been peeing their pants as well. So while you are practicing public speaking in this specific case, just speak fluently. Inform, that is the job that you are given, or the task that you're given is to inform the patient or the doctor or anyone in the room about what you are going to do. Then we have leadership roles as a practicing physician. This kind of gathers every case, but I wanted to put it as a different case because it's important to highlight that leadership roles do not only include rotations, lectures, or I don't know, workshops. It also includes you meeting people within not only the hospital, but within the medical community. So let's say you are in a club like this club. Um, you need to really practice. How is it that you're going to inform? How is it that you're going to entertain? And how is it that you're going to persuade whoever you're speaking to through the elements and purposes of your speech? So the key point here is setting your limit and your goal. So setting limits in public speaking is essentially really frustrating because as you are setting your limits, not everyone knows about it. So, how you want to establish any limit that you have is by explaining what your goal is. So, my goal here again is to teach you about public speaking and show you that it's not as scary as people make it seem. So when I'm practicing my leadership roles, I need to really get in touch with the audience I'm presenting to and what goal I want to carry throughout my presentation. Then we go into interviews. Interviews are exhausting, to say the least. They are long, you don't know what to say, but it is really important to know that the most important V of interviews is visuals. So if you get to the interview showing that you, let's say, don't want to be there or you just not as excited to be there as you should be, don't show it. It's sad to say they're going to notice and it's not going to go as fluently as we would want it to go. So just go there, present your thoughts, give, you can use the example three of introductions to interviews, but just clearly go with your, again, limit, goal, persuasion, entertain, and informing. What is it that you want to do there? So interviews, again, not exciting, but they are necessary when you're going into med school. So it is important that not only you inform and do everything that I mentioned, but also make a connection with the person interviewing you. Because no one wants to hire or give a place to someone who does not have their clear goal and limits in mind. Let me tell you that I've interviewed a lot of people this past year. And it was through Zoom, which is even more scarier. I was scared. They were scared. It was a mess. But at the end, it worked out because they presented to me as if they were confident and as if they knew what they were doing there and they had their goal in mind and did everything they could to fulfill that goal through public speaking. Lastly, we have research. So I'm doing a track in research and again interviewed a lot of people for more research tracks. And it is important to recognize that research is not such about speaking. It's more about what you write, how you communicate through paper. And it's difficult. Sorry, my dog is crazy, but it's difficult to understand that while research is you writing and communicating through paper, it is also about the idea you're presenting to anyone who's reading your research. And when talking about researching or informing people, it's important to understand that we might not see their reaction or we might not connect with them. I don't know, presently. It is important that we portray our ideas through paper and we give them that confidence through our papers. And how should I do that? Exactly. You can do your research or your confidence through knowledge. And it's boring now. You've said it a lot. I know I said it a lot. But knowledge is the most important thing to acquire while doing public speaking. If you don't understand the topic, if you don't know what you're talking about, none of the elements and importance and factors of public speaking will be accomplished. So, lastly, well, now that I know I'm a med student, but I also have a personal life. Yeah, that's true. We have a personal life. So, first, building relationships. It allows us to form connections, influence decisions, and motivate change. Why is this important? It is important to build relationships through public speaking because not we are not taught in school that building relationships are everything and have everything related to communicating. If you don't have great set of communication skills, you will not have a great relationship with anyone. And even though I can say it a lot of times, you need to have a great communication skill. It is hard. It is difficult to acquire good communication skills. And this is where we brought up again practicing. You already have friends. You have already built relationships with multiple people. Now is the time to enhance those relationships through communicating. If you don't feel comfortable, if you need to set limits and communicate your goals, now is the time to do it. Please, I'm telling you this with all my heart, set limits. Limits in your communication skills, limits in your relationships. Limits are the basis of good relationships. Then we have confidence. Again, easier said than done. Overcoming the fears and insecurities that accompany public speaking is empowering. You will feel empowered once you've accomplished that confidence. But in the meantime, you shouldn't be feeling sad because you gave a presentation and you feel like your confidence was lacking, or you think that because of your confidence level, all your communications and all your relationships will fail. This is simply not true. The only thing that you need to do is start by, again, limits and setting goals and setting your limits. Because once you establish the limits of your communication skills, you will feel more confident. And I'm telling you this, even if you practice, practicing, of course, helps, but limits will get you further in life. Then developing our thoughts. So, effective public speaking skills can help with career advancement as they indicate creativity, critical thinking skills, leadership abilities, and professionalism. So, these things you hear them on a resume, you look things that I need for my resume, and those are there. Leadership abilities, thinking, critical thinking skills. But it's really important that we, as students, develop them because we're not only using this in our personal lives, we're using it in our professional life. So, how is it that I'm gonna acquire all the skills? Well, again, practicing, practicing, practicing. No, you can practice alone. You can open a Zoom meeting and start talking about anything, but really give yourself time to be alone with your thoughts and really develop them efficiently. And that way, your public speaking skills will be the best of your life. And tell me and trust me when I say this, if you practice and you set your limits, you can continue giving the workshop. You're set to go. You're done. And that was it for the workshop. If you have any questions, you can email me, write it in the chat. I will be happy to respond. Again, misconception number one, I might not have every answer, okay? But I will try my best. Thank you. Let me stop sharing now.
Thank you so much for presenting. I'm sure everyone else learned a lot from it, as did I. Does anyone have any questions or anything? I don't see anything in the chat, but we can wait a couple minutes.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here and for paying attention throughout the presentation. Yeah, I said that. I've done it. Before presentations, open a Zoom, talk to yourself, and see how you're doing. Promise you it helps.
Okay, if no one has any questions, I'll put the attendance form for everyone in the chat and see I sent Laura a message.
Okay, so I'm seeing some questions in the chat. So I'm going to respond to them now. So I do public speaking every week, basically, because since I'm a coach, meaning a teacher of debate, I do have to give a lot of workshops and presentations. So even before this one, I gave a workshop on the IMF and the economic point of the IMF. And yeah, it I do it every week. It's a new topic every week, so I have to be prepared every single week, a part of studying for my exams, which I'm currently in finals week. But yeah, I do it every week. And then, are you planning on coming to the US once you become a physician, or will you stay in the Dominican Republic? Well, for now, so medical school in the Dominican Republic lasts 5 years, and I don't have to do pre med. And my last year of medical school is I'm becoming an intern. So it's 4 years of medical school, my intern year, and then I can take the the exams of the country, which are the physician's exams, or I can take any exam for any country and I can go there. So, yeah, I am planning to go to the US once I'm done here. And yeah, sadly, I will have to take the steps and everything. Hope that answered your questions. Okay, so yes, I need a lot of practicing with that because since English is my second language, I use a lot of filler words. But this is gonna look crazy. I promise it's gonna look crazy. But putting a pen, oh my God, I'm gonna use the pen for example. Putting your pen in your lips and talking and reading the speech, it really helps because you have no space for because you want to take the pen out of your mouth. So it is a good way to reduce them. I saw a lot of change while I started doing that because apart from coaching debate, I practiced debate for 4 years. And yeah, it's the craziest way, but it works. Yes. So in medical school, how it works in the Dominican Republic is that you basically do a normal college application and then you go straight into medical school. There is no pre med, it's just med school, and it's really intense. It's 4 years of intense, um, I don't know, lectures, workshops, reading, a lot of studying. It's a lot. But I'm happy that I will be done. I'm basically becoming a doctor in 3 years. I'm missing just 3 years. And then that it will be great. But yeah, right out of high school, I graduated early. I just turned 18 last week. So yeah, it is different from the BSMD program. Oh, thank you. So it is different, but the thing is that they put pre med as your first year, which is general classes. So right now, taking, well, I finished my general classes, but I'm still taking OChem. I love OChem. Contrary to popular belief, it is awesome. But I'm taking OChem, I'm taking anatomy, and I'm taking psychology, and I'm taking different classes that correlate with the BSMD program. So I believe those were all the questions. If there are any more questions and or you have a question later on, my email was on the presentation, I believe. Yeah. I can put it again in the chat if anyone has a question. So yeah, it's there in the chat. Any questions you may ask, feel free to ask any questions. Honestly, I can do some timeout from my all the presentations and homeworks that I have. Okay. So thank you everyone for being here and listening to me chatting. But any questions, my email is there. Bye. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much for hosting this workshop, Laura. I hope everyone, and I hope you have a great day too.
You too. Bye.
Bye.